So, Coach, congratulations on the 38-7 win over George Fox this past Saturday. When you walked into the locker room to break down the team before the game, did you just know?
Yeah, I think you were in there with me. I think you could tell too, and it's all right. It's time to play. Let's go.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes when you go in there, you just know, and that was one of those days. The defense held George Fox to 8 total yards of offense in that first half. You guys defensively just blistered the George Fox offense all game. And what was your impression of Coach Vaughn's unit on Saturday?
You know, they were just so dominant up front that there just wasn't much that the offense could do, you know, in terms of they were behind the chains the entire game, and you get behind the chains on that defensive line, you're in trouble. And I thought our defensive backs did a really good job of taking away the easy throws, and then by the time you tried to get to read number 2 or 3, it was over. And so they were dominant, stopped the run, and I think that was critical. Win first down, and then unleash that D-line on the passing downs.
As Justin Taylor used to say, it was a jailbreak pretty much the whole day.
That is a great phrase. Absolutely.
Yes, it was a jailbreak. So let's go to the other side of the ball. George Fox, they're a team that dares you to have sustained drives against them in their soft zone defense. And, man, your offense did just that. 5 touchdown drives of 50 yards or more. I think it's pretty incredible that you have an offense that can unleash the big bomb, the big play, or if need be, they can grind it out and move down the field just by taking chunks at a time. It has to feel good to know you have that in your back pocket as you move down the road here.
Absolutely. We scored touchdowns on, I believe, 4 of our first 5 drives, and the game was over, you know, in terms of I thought actually the second drive we had where they got the big punt and the ball, you know, came down, we had bad field position, and we put together a long drive and flipped the field into the wind, was pretty demoralizing. And from really that point on, I think we were just completely in control of the game. So I was really proud of what our offense did. The decision making I thought was great by Wyatt.
Yep.
He graded out really high in terms of just taking what they gave him and not forcing things. And it's hard. I mean, we like to throw the ball deep at times, so, you know, hitting the check downs and taking the wide open backs in the flat that would turn, you know, a 3-yard pass into a 15-yard gainer, that was devastating to them and kept many of the drives alive.
Yeah, it was really beautiful to watch in a lot of ways. I mean, I know check down football sometimes is not the best thing in the world, but like you said, in terms of decisions making and playing smart, sound football, that was on full display on Saturday by the offense and specifically by Wyatt. This Saturday, to me, it was just another example of you have a team in conference that's having a good year. They're kind of cresting, riding a wave, and they're coming into Cat Dome feeling super confident, feeling like, all right, hey, this might be our chance. And all that happens is that they run into a buzzsaw in purple and white. It seems like the program relishes those kind of opportunities when they arise.
Well, I think our guys like to compete. I mean, you know that, and we want kids here that love to compete, and I think that brings out the best in competitors when you get a competitive game. And so you're exactly right. I feel like we had 4 games this year where, okay, this is the best team we're going to play. This is the team, and gosh, we beat them quite handily. Well, this team's going to be the team, and you know, our guys have done a good job each game trying to be self-referent and rising to the occasion, but I would agree, I think there's been possibly 5 teams this year that really thought they were going to have a chance, and after 3 or 4 drives realized it's not a fair game. So I've been really pleased with just the execution that we've had, and then our playmakers have been making plays, and I think that combined with execution is why you're seeing, you know, really good success team-wise.
Absolutely. It's been fun watching you guys drop the hammer on these teams throughout the season as a fan. It's been quite enjoyable. Let's rewind and go back before we played Simon Fraser and we talked, and I mentioned the potential regarding the youth in this program currently, and we're 7 games later now, and I have to say I think that potential is being realized, and it's really a tremendous blend of youthful talent mixed with some really great veterans as well. Can you think of another Linfield team with this kind of blend that since you've been around all these years?
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm not sure I have, in terms of, we've usually been pretty senior dominant, or junior dominant, and maybe that 2014 team where we had some great seniors and then a young quarterback, that he was there for 3 years. This is the opposite. We've got an old quarterback and a bunch of young skill players, around him, and that's an interesting blend. It really is. And then even on defense, it's very similar. You have a couple outstanding seniors and then quite a few good young players around those guys. So it is an interesting blend, and it bodes well for the future.
Yeah, and for right now too, the present and the future, you gotta be loving it. Coach, you have time for a couple. I solicited and I did get some pretty solid questions. I ran them by Kelly, is my Kelly, and she's like, "That's a good one. Let's take a pass on that one." So these are Mrs. 11 approved. So let's go ahead and just start with this one here. Give me 1 second. All right. So, do you have a favorite memory from the 2004 run, championship run? Is there one specific game, moment that really just stands out in your mind?
I really enjoyed the game at Stevens Point. We were struggling on defense, and we had sort of a turning point there. Coach Elliott really, I thought, stepped up leadership that way, and the offense was doing what it could do, but our defense was struggling, and somehow we found a way on defense to get some stops, and a couple stops turned into more stops, and then we ended up coming back and winning that game, and I thought that was very pivotal for the run that we would have, later, even in the championship game where we were struggling and really needed to win on defense. So really those are the only two games that I think our defense was tested and that we had to play. The rest of the time we just outscored everyone. So I would say a Stevens Point game.
Yeah, I remember Mr. Woods, young freshman corner at the time, making a huge play, huge pick. That was a big one too. Okay, next question, Coach. So what led you personally, going from being a player at Linfield to coaching? What made that decision, like, hey, I want to pursue coaching and here at Linfield?
Well, when I was at Linfield, I was a psychology major, so I thought I'd go into psych, and so as a graduate student, I was getting my master's in sports psychology, and then working up at a boys and girls home and at the Chehalem House in Newburgh, and doing that, at nights, and then coaching here on the days, trying to figure out what I liked better. Did I like coaching, or did I like the psychology route? And I finished my master's, and I realized real quickly that I loved coaching. I loved being around, this age group with the energy and the emotion and just the team. And Linfield football's special. So how could I like psychology more than that? So it was really kind of a no-brainer for me.
I think every Linfield fan is thankful that you chose this path. We'll just say that. Question came from the Sisters football account.
Okay.
So I think we know who's asking this question.
All right.
I think that narrows it down.
It does, yes.
Okay, Coach Smith was showing some great emotion on Saturday, specifically in the second half. Why was Coach so fired up? It was great to see.
Oh goodness, I was a little upset at a obvious completion that they called incomplete. So I was upset at that, and then honestly, I was upset at a guy's helmet coming off, 3 times, and the officials not being able to see it. And what's happened, in football is they moved the official from behind the D line to behind the O line, and so there's some things they just can't see, and that's kind of interesting. There's the game's being called a little bit differently because of that, at least at our level. So the hands of the face, for instance, they can't see. They just see the helmet coming off, but they can't tell why. So that was frustrating. And then we had an official freeze up on not giving us a timeout before a kickoff. So I didn't handle that super well, but I was upset at those guys. So
I like to say, the coach, that your guys are a competitor. You're a competitor too, and you're competing for your guys, and so I think that's what I come away with it.
Well, thanks. We hold everyone to a high standard, and that's our coaches and officials and players. So we're going to compete.
Absolutely. Hey, best of luck this Saturday, and hopefully we get a chance to talk soon.
Thanks.